Well, how's it going? I thought I'd change things up a little bit and do a video instead of writing a post. And just got the kids down to bed, and Jamie's out with some girlfriends. And I thought I'd try to do some recording. And yeah, it's funny how I had all these things that I wanted to say, all these posts, and I was kind of playing around with the camera before I started recording, and then I just kind of started drawing a blank. I didn't really know what to start talking about, and still don't really know what to talk about. It's Thursday, the 21st of January, 2016, and just found out today that did some blood work recently and got my tumor markers back, and they came back. They were a little bit higher than they were in November, but they weren't as high as they were in August. And it would be easy to go to the kind of the negative thing of saying, well, look at it, they've gotten worse since November. I'm actually choosing to look at it from the perspective of, well, at least they're not worse than what they were in August. And I think that's important in life, is perspective. Perspective is everything. And we don't always see things the way we should. We're often blinded by our own ignorance, our own arrogance, or our own stupidity. And one thing I've been learning through this process is trusting God, no matter what. And that's the scary thing. And I was thinking earlier tonight of a post about trust, and how trust is tough. It's hard to build trust. It takes time, and it takes effort, and it things happen, and you say things or do things, or mistakes are made, and trust is broken, and then it's like almost at times nearly impossible to earn that trust back. And yet trust is essential. Trust is critical for any of us to succeed in life. We're going to have to trust, even though we've been hurt, even though we've been let down, even though we've been, and again, not to negate what's happened to people, but maybe some of us have been, brutalized or abused. And so trust is something that isn't really high on your vocabulary, and so it's a long, tough road to get back to a place of trusting again, and whether it's you being trusted or you trusting. And yet I know it's essential for me right now to trust God in this, even though when I don't know all the ins and outs of what's going on, and I don't fully comprehend everything. I want to rest in the grace and the truth that I don't need to know everything, and that what I do need to know is that the God that I know, the God that I love, the God that I serve, and the God that loves me, He knows what's best. He knows better than any of us. And as much as we'd like to play God, or as much as we'd like to think we know better or know more than Him, the reality is none of us don't. So, I just wanted to just let you know that trust is essential. Trust is such a necessary ingredient to our lives, and yet it's tough at times to trust, but it's a must. We must learn to trust. And again, one of the favorite verses that I had when I was a young Christian was Psalm 118:8. And it was once told to me that if you were to add all of the books in the Bible, and if you were to split it right down the middle, and if we were to look at the exact center of the Bible, the verse would be Psalm 118:8, and it says something to the effects that it's better to trust in the Lord than to put our trust in princes. And so I want to take that to heart. That's a pretty critical scripture. That's a pretty critical and necessary truth for us to live, that it's better to trust in the Lord than to put our trust in princes or people or doctors or natural paths. But we need to trust people. But ultimately our trust is in the Lord. And so I want to just say thank you. Thanks for listening and following. And I feel like I want to do a bit more videos. And hopefully we can maybe shave a bit of the mustache down so it's not so dark. I realize when I'm looking at myself how greasy it looks. And so I better fix that. And as you can tell, my hair is growing. We're going to let my hair grow a little bit, and still not as thick as I'd like on the very, very top, but it actually looks like it's coming in a bit thicker, and that's a good thing. And my weight's going up. I'm really thankful for that. I was a little concerned. I was going down quite a bit, and I've just had a real good bounce back, and been feeling really good, really strong. Again, even though the numbers today weren't where we wanted them to be, they're not where they were, and so we look to that. We look to the positive. It's easy to get caught up in the negative and get down and frustrated and depressed, but that doesn't do good for any of us. It doesn't do good for me. I can't stress. Stress is another thing that releases negative toxins, toxic toxins into our bodies, and we'll talk about that another video down the road too, learning to deal with stress in our lives. So anyways, thanks for listening, and we'll see you around. Take care.